Hey guys, and welcome back to Jessin Reads Romance. I'm Jessin, and today we're going to be talking about the Paranormal Romance Readathon, what I plan to read during this readathon. It starts on October 30th. I'm going to have to double check when it ends, but it is like a week-long running readathon. I'm so excited. All paranormal. There is a bingo card. I'm going to put it right here. Now, I will say, there are some prompts on this bingo card where I feel like I've read everything, which is totally untrue. There's probably a million books that fit these prompts, but I decided to kind of take some of the prompts and try to complete them, but for others, I have a ton of books that are part of a series that I've never finished, and I'm going to take this opportunity to finish a series or continue with the series during this readathon, and I can't wait to share with you what I plan on reading, so let's jump right in. Ooh, I also plan on giving some recommendations of books that I have read that will fit these prompts. Right after I tell you what I'm going to be reading, I'll give you some suggestions if you're struggling with some of the prompts. The first book I do plan on reading is the group read. I'm so excited about this. I've never heard about this book. It's called The Power of Hades. If you don't know already, I'm a huge fan of the Persephone and Hades love story. I love reading books with this type of romance. I'm also a huge fan of Lore Olympus. It's my jam. A lot of these books I've chosen not to read the blurb for. I'm just really excited about it. So I didn't want to read too much into it. I know that it involves some sort of Hades and Persephone mythology. I don't know if it's at all modern. I don't know what type of paranormal this is going to be. I just want to be surprised. I love going in blind, and I know that people are probably like, why? The next book I want to read is Mating the Huntress by Talia Hibbert, and she recently came out with a new cover for this book. It is gorgeous. I absolutely love it. He is so hot in his eyes, and it's just, I love a shifter romance, so this speaks to me. It's a novella as well, so I'm definitely going to be able to complete this during this readathon. Of note, I will be giving you quite a few books for my TBR. I'm going to give myself a little bit of wiggle room because if I don't like a book, these are kind of alternatives as well. Like, I have some alternatives. If I don't like this one, then move on to the next one, and don't worry or stress about it. I'm doing a stress-free readathon. The next book on my list is Wolfsong by TJ Klune. Again, I've not read a lot about this, but I've heard a lot about it. I've seen so many people talk about this series. I'm so excited to start it. I actually ordered a paperback copy. I cannot wait to get it in and show you guys. Then I plan on reading Desire Unchained by Larissa Ione. This is the second book in the Demonica series, and I read the first one, Pleasure Unbound, for one of our patron exclusive reviews. I really liked the first one. And I plan on continuing with the series, but there's so many books on my TBR, I just kind of forgot about it. So now I'm going to continue with the series. I actually was going to read something later, and it's tied into the Demonica series, but a spinoff, and it has something to do with angels. But I was cautioned by some of the followers of the podcast, do not skip ahead, and I normally don't skip ahead at all. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go with the second book and continue in reading order. Then I'm going to read One Grave at a Time by Janine Frost. I had started the Cat and Bones series just this year as a suggestion on the podcast. Nicola, if you're watching, love your suggestion. Cat and Bones, I'm kicking myself for not reading this. I don't even know how I didn't read this because it was coming out during the time where I read exclusively paranormal. I have no idea how this slipped through my radar. I love them. This couple is super funny, and I wanted to continue with the series. August, I had the next two books on my list, and I think I only have 2 books left in the series before I can then read the spinoff of Vlad and Ian, so I want to finish this one. The next one was a last-minute addition. I saw Bree from In Love and Words say that she really loves Sacrifice by Katie Roberts, and it's like an MMMF romance, vampire romance, and that's all I needed to know. I put it on this list because I'm interested in it and something different, something new. I didn't super love Desperate Measures by Katie Roberts or Your Dad Will Do. I just don't know if her writing's for me, but I want to like her. A lot of people like her, so I'm going to try one more, and see if this one fits. Then I'm going to be reading McCreeve by Cressley Cole. This is number, 13, 12, something, some higher number in the Immortals After Dark series. I started reading this on our Facebook, our private Facebook group for the podcast, and I just kind of got burnt out on Immortals After Dark a little bit, but I'm almost done. I'm almost caught up with the series, and so I put this one on the podcast so I could finally read this one. I think this one's a werewolf lycanthrope. I think they're Lycae in the Immortals After Dark world. While I was searching for like some new books, I came across this book, Infernal by Lindsay Hall. Lindsay Hall? This is also a Hades and Persephone romance. I like skimmed really quick. I saw Hades and Persephone. I was like, yes, yes, yes. Okay. Anyway, so I put that one on my list. Hopefully I'll get to it. And then I also put Wicked Nights by Gina Showalter, and this is an angel romance. I was kind of struggling to find angel romances. Most everybody suggests Lily Singh's Guild Hunter series, which I absolutely love and is part of my recommendations. But I read all of them, so I was kind of blanking on the whole angel thing. And a lot of series have angels, but they're almost always late additions to like a paranormal world series or fantasy world series. It's like you introduce the normal paranormal creatures, and then later in the game all of a sudden angels pop up. So it's always like book 6 in a series or something, and I do like to read in order. I'm weird like that. Okay, so now some recommendations, which is why I kind of had a hard time following the prompts, because I felt like I already read a lot of these books that would fit for the prompt. And I wanted to read something new. I didn't want to include any rereads for this one. I'm all about discovering like new authors, new series, and for this readathon, finishing series that I've started long ago and I need to finish. First on my suggestion list, I am shamelessly plugging my Aunt Juliette Cross and my co-host for the podcast. Alexa, we know that there's a hurricane coming. Shh. By the way, if you noticed,
there's a hurricane watch in effect until Wednesday, October 7th, 9 p.m.
Thanks. If you guys have noticed my lighting is different, it's because I have no natural light, which I guess it's fine. I like this lighting. This is fine. But yeah, I have no natural light because our windows are boarded up because there's a hurricane coming on Friday, the day that this video is going to come out. We don't know how strong it's going to be. It's kind of like coin toss. If it gets in the Gulf of Mexico and it hits cooler waters, it could not dissipate, but become like a category 2, which is not super worrisome at all. But then it could be like Laura and jump to a category 4, and yeah, who knows? Back to me shamelessly plugging Stay a Spell series. This is Juliette's newest series, the Stay a Spell series. It is a paranormal, almost modern. It has a very like contemporary feel to it. It's not super heavy on the world building, and it's set in New Orleans. We're from Louisiana and we really love New Orleans. And the first book is Wolf Gone Wild. Mateo is the hero and his wolf is kind of like out of control. Normally this is like a silent part of them and they change every full moon, and suddenly he can hear his wolf in his head, and this is a problem. Someone has hexed him. So he goes to the ruling witches of New Orleans, the Savoy sisters, and he approaches Evie, who is a renowned hex breaker. And of course, it has to be like this is kind of like forced proximity because Mateo's wolf kind of calms down around Evie, so they have to hang out while they try to figure out who the heck put a hex on him and how do they take it off. And Alpha is kind of like a raging hormone monster in Mateo's head. He really likes Evie, and so he's always telling him like dirty things he wants to do to Evie. And Mateo's like, stop it, you're gonna scare her off. And it's just really great. I'm biased, I know, but I just wanted to let you know it fits a lot of the prompts, like the animal with the werewolf. It has, there's not a witchy prompt, but it has lots of witches in it. It has vampires in it. The second book in the series has a vampire hero, and he's actually an Indian vampire hero. He kind of did like a Bollywood stint. He's like hundreds of years old, and he likes to like try out different things because he kind of gets bored with life. So he's this famous Bollywood actor. And he runs into one of the Savoy sisters while she's on her bike, and he turns out to be one of her neighbors. And she is like an introvert, and she like is not ready for all of that. But he shamelessly pursues her. I love this opposite attract romance. There's also in the series a zombie cat, and I don't want to say too much about that, and a bow tie wearing rooster named Fred. I really love this series. Again, I'm biased, but you should definitely check it out. Then of course I have to suggest the Psy Changeling series by Nalini Singh. If you have not read it before, Slice to Sensation is where it all starts with Sasha and Lucas. I love this couple so much, and the deeper you get into this world, the more beautiful it is. It is running like 16 books strong, I think, and I'm still in love with the series. I absolutely love it. Alpha Night was the most recent release. Beautiful. We've done multiple episodes on the podcast reviewing these books, and in January we're gonna have like a whole month dedicated to some of our favorite side changeling couples that we have not done yet on the podcast. We just love them so much. But anyway, you should definitely check that out if you've never before. She also has her Guild Hunter series. The Guild Hunter series by Nalini Singh has angels, vampires, vampire hunters. They're called Guild Hunters, and Elena, the heroine, is a Guild Hunter. She's tasked by the Archangel of New York, who they rule the world, and each Archangel has like a sector of the world. And she's tasked by an Archangel for this secret project. And at first she's told she needs to hunt a vampire because she has like, even among the vampires, she has these heightened senses, and she's called like Hunter Born. And she actually is tasked on hunting another Archangel. I really love Elena and Raphael as a couple. He's very godlike in his mentality. He looks at humans and he kind of just thinks of them as nothing less than human, and when he meets Elena, that all starts to change. So his behavior toward the beginning of the book is like troublesome, and then there's so many good things that happen in this book, and I really love it. You should go check it out. There's also a vampire that you meet later on in the series, and his name is Janvier, and he is from Louisiana, and I just really love it. And he recklessly pursues Ash Winnie. Love them. Of course, the Night Huntress series by Janine Frost, which I will be reading the 6th book in this series. The first book is amazing. We've done it on the podcast. Then we have the Dark Hunter series. I really enjoy the Dark Hunter series by Sherilyn Kenyon. It's one of the first like paranormal romances, like true romances that I read, coming off of like my fantasy introduction to reading. There's vampires, there's fated mates, there's also a ton of Greek mythology, which I'm obsessed with, and we're actually doing the first book in the series at the end of October. It will be our last episode in October, if our schedule's not thrown off with this hurricane that's happening. If for some reason you want lighter romance and want more of like kind of an in-depth world and like action series, then you should check out Patricia Briggs's Mercy Thompson series, and also her Alpha and Omega series. Alpha and Omega starts off with more romance, I would say, because the Mercy Thompson series takes a while to build the romance between the couple, kind of like Kate Daniels. But I really love Mercy. She's a coyote shifter, and her love interest is a werewolf. The world is like a lot more dangerous than like your typical romance werewolves. Another series that I kind of forgot about, and it popped up on my list whenever I was searching dark, is The Immortal Guardians. I believe the first book is Dark Desires. I'm gonna pop it up right here. It kind of has a similar vibe to Sherilyn Kenyon's Dark Hunter series. There's vampires, there's like vampire hunters who are very similar to vampires, because the vampires in this world kind of like go insane. It's very interesting, and I haven't read this series in a long time, but I really do enjoy it. And then the Dark Protector series. This is by Christine Feehan, and I know a lot of people really love it. I tried to read Dark Prince a long time ago. It was like on sale, had a new cover or something. Couldn't get into it, but tons of people like it, so I just wanted to mention it in case you wanted a book that had dark in it. I think a lot of the books in this series have the word dark in the title. And then of course the Black Dagger Brotherhood. This is a vampire series. Now, I highly recommend the 2nd book and the 3rd book. Rage and Zetas. I love them, and I will definitely reread their books. Dark Lover, the first one's a little bit problematic. If you don't mind some problematic consent issues in your reads, then you might like this one. So I definitely suggest book 2 and book 3 if you're just delving into Black Dagger Brotherhood. All right, so that is it for my recommendations. I really hope that this readathon goes well. I will be linking all the hosts down in the description box, so you should go follow them and go watch their TBR videos. I think that Jessica is supposed to be posting, if she hasn't already posted by the time my video comes out, some suggestions that might fit some of the prompts for this readathon. I'm super excited about this readathon. I honestly want to stay in this like paranormal fantasy bubble for the rest of the year. I have a lot of contemporary on my list, and like I just feel like I'm not gravitating toward them right now, so this readathon couldn't have come at a better time. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, subscribe and you'll get notified on any future videos that I do. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, life's better with a little HEA. Bye guys.